Welcome back to the Intersect podcast, guys. Now, this is a very, very special episode, and for three reasons. Now, one, this is our 10th episode, so let's give it a round of a whoopsie. And two, this is actually a solo episode, so you guys are about to find out a lot about me. I'm going to go into depth about pretty well everything about my mental health and all the things that I've kind of gone through. And three, we have a very, very special announcement. We have actually partnered with Daily Dose Supplements for a giveaway for this milestone. So stay tuned for that one. Now, guys, the support that you guys have been giving us has been absolutely amazing. And I cannot thank you guys enough. Now, I just want to give a quick shout out to Tony and Adam. You guys have been so fucking amazing. I genuinely cannot thank you guys enough for being a part of this, and we wouldn't be here or be this far without you guys. So thank you guys so much. Make sure you give us a like, make sure you give us a comment and a subscribe. Keep your head up and keep your mental health even higher. There's not one way, guys, there's multiple. Now on to the episode.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back to the Intersect podcast. You have me. This is a solo episode, and I'm very, very excited for it. As you can see, maybe not the audio listeners, but I'm actually in my Jimmy Jams because it's very comfy. It's my favorite shirt. So if you guys haven't slept in silk, it's probably fake silk. Get on it. It's actually fire. We have actually partnered with Daily Dose Supplements for a giveaway for this 10th episode. So what I want you guys to do, I want you to go over to our Instagram, the Intersect podcast, and go follow our page. Also go over to Daily Dose Supplements Instagram page and Facebook page. Give them a like, give them a follow. But yes, welcome back to the Intersect podcast. My name's Thomas, and you're going to be tuning in with me for a solo episode. So where do we start? I think I might have to start with just a little bit more in depth of why we started this podcast. Now, there's a lot that goes into starting a podcast, and it hasn't been a smooth sail, but it has been fun. We've created so many memories doing it already with all the guests that we've had on and the future guests that are coming up. Now, the reason why I started... So let's actually go back a little bit. Intersect came to me when I was out at work, and I've just always had this passion of creating content for, I don't know why. Ever since I was a kid, pretty much I've had this thing that I was always going to be someone. I don't know what it was. I didn't have any direction on what it was going to be, but I just had this feeling ever since I was a kid. And when I obviously started at the gym, and then the gym has been like a massive, massive part of the last 4 years. And yeah, I was out at work one day, and I've just kept thinking about what was T-junction, and what the brand was going to represent. And the brand was going to represent like changing the direction of your mental health. So taking a step in a different direction, like a risk. And I mean, it's either going to pay off or it's not going to pay off. So it's a risk, but it's changing the direction. And I've been in a state where it's been hard, and I've had to make those changes. One example would be I had a secure job in retail, and I was making good money. And then, all of a sudden, I just didn't like it. It was taking a massive mental toll on me and my family, and I was coming home tired. I was cranky. snappy, all that type of stuff. So I wanted to get out of it, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I looked around and looked for an apprenticeship that I thought would be like suitable, something that I would like to do. And I came across my job now, which I'm a floor layer. So going out of retail and taking that step where I was, new to everything, but also taking on an apprenticeship while owning a house and having 3 kids, you know, fucking, it sucks because you take a massive pay cut. So that was a massive risk that I had to take, and it definitely worked off in the long run. But while I was at work, I was thinking about T-junction and what it meant. So, but I didn't like the name, hated the name T-junction. It just sounds weird. Or the other one was Crossroads. Don't like it. I reckon it sounds like fucking shit. So Intersect came about. Now, Intersect, loved the name, loved everything that it stood for, but the one thing that I found the hardest was when Tony asked, what does intersect mean? And it's, at the time, it was so hard to explain because I couldn't get the words out. I couldn't explain what it meant. I just had this idea in my head, but I couldn't verbalize it to anyone. I actually told Michaela first, and then Michaela actually went. We went over to Tony's house and we had dinner, and Michaela told my idea to Tony, and I was so nervous. I was fucking shitting my pants because I didn't want anyone to be like, "Oh, that's a shit idea. Don't even fucking worry about it." But Tony was so, "Yo, that's a fucking dope idea. Let's do it. Let's get this shit running." So we spent ages like designing what it's going to be. The podcast wasn't actually even in the picture. Like, it was something that we wanted to do, but it wasn't even in the picture. It was actually meant to be like a clothing brand, which we're still in the making of. But yeah, it's that. And after a while, what intersect means is like came to me after a while, after verbalizing it to a lot of people and changing the way the words are and stuff. So what intersect means is change, right? It doesn't have to be good change. It doesn't have to be bad change, but it's change. Sometimes people get stuck in a rut, or they get comfortable in a relationship, or they get comfortable in a job, and their mental health just spirals, and they don't know it. And then they come to the realization where, oh shit, I need to change, but it's going to take a massive toll on something, mental health or their physical health did take a massive toll because they got comfortable. So starting in the gym is a big change because it's daunting. It's fucking scary. Starting at the gym is probably one of the scariest fucking things because you don't want people to look at you. You don't want people to judge you or the way that you look. You don't want to look stupid in there. Changing jobs because you're comfortable in a job. Taking change is probably the biggest and hardest decision that you can do. But sometimes, and majority of the time, if you do it right, it pays off. It may not pay off quick, but it pays off. So intersect is change, and we all need change sometimes. Some people don't like change, but some people need change. So if you're like struggling with things, maybe just take a step back and look at your situation and just see what needs fixing or what needs changing or like something like that. And it could be as small as reaching out and just talking to someone, especially when it comes to your mental health. So, but yeah, that's pretty much where Intersect came from. Me and Tony worked ages, and I wanted Adam to be the co-host because of just the way he is. Adam's such a fucking funny dude. When he's in his element, he's in his element. Like, and the dynamic that all three of us have is just so electric that it just makes for a good podcast. But it does take time to get used to talking to a fucking camera. Like I'm doing this right now with no one, and it's so weird. Yeah. Hey, what's up? There's fucking no one here. So I'm fucking doing this solo, and this is scary because I got no one to fucking talk to besides you, and you're actually technically not even there. So, gangster. But yeah, no, we worked hard. We came up with a design. We done all that type of stuff, and then yeah, Intersect became Intersect. So they essentially helped me bring my dream to light, and I genuinely cannot thank them enough. But yeah, so a bit of a backstory on me. Let's dive into a bit of mental health. So I've been through a lot. I wouldn't say that I've struggled, and I'm not going to say that I'm a victim or any of that type of stuff, but I've been through a lot. And one of the things that I got told as I was in like my early 20s or even my late teens was that when I was younger, I used to get drugged as a kid, which would explain the delay in my brain. Whoa. But yeah, it's that was a bit of a shock to hear when you get told that one of your parents used to drug you as a kid to shut you up, which is fucking horrible to hear. Not that I remember it, but yeah, it was that happened, and then I was a little asshole of a kid. I used to wag school, used to, do drugs. I used to have a massive temper. I used to, try and fight my dad. Always got flogged with a belt or a wooden spoon or fucking something used to flog me. But actually, one of the things that I remember as a kid was like me and my brother used to like fight, and then as boys do, you just get too hard into it. You just start flogging the shit out of each other. And my stepmom came in and used to flog us and then go, you're fucking, when your dad gets home, he's going to come and fucking beat your ass. And so dad would come home. Dad would come in and he'd start flogging Sean, my brother. He's belting Sean, and I'm laying on the bed just laughing my fucking ass off because I found it so funny that he's getting beat and I'm just sitting there just like a fucking dickhead. And so then dad would turn to me and be like, oh, you want some? You want some of this? Then dad would come over and beat shit out of me. And then Sean would be fucking holding his ass cheeks and then laughing at me because I'm getting belt. And then it would just be a back and forward. And then dad would just give up and be like, whatever, see you later. But yeah, that was pretty funny. So yeah, I used to be a very temperamental kid. My fuse used to be very short. I've soon learnt how to control that. So yeah, there was that, and then I remember fucking just being an absolute asshole to dad and just storming out of the house after an argument, probably over something fucking stupid like, where's the fucking peanut butter? Or fucking Vegemite, where's it? Or fuck you, dad, I'm leaving. So after storming out, dad came out, he's like, get your fucking ass back here. And I'm like, no, and I saw a brick on the floor and I picked it up, threw it at dad. And dad miraculously caught it midair, like fucking Superman, bro catched it, and he's just like, oh, you want some? Threw it straight back at me. I was like, oh shit, this dude just fucking threw a brick at me. So I ran away. I ran away for, I think it was 3 months. I ran away with, I went over to a friend's house and, yeah, I was like, yeah, dad said that I can come with you guys to wherever we were going, and just jumped in the car and ran away for 3 days. Then I went to school wherever we were, lived with them for 3 months. And yeah, I remember at school when I was sitting in the classroom, dad found out where I was And as a fucking parent now, that would scare the living fuck out of me. I would not want that, and I would hope to God that my kids don't do that to me. Dad called the school, and he's like, "Yo, my son, he's there. Like, what's going on?" And I like jumped on the phone to him, and he's like, "Why the fuck did you run away with that?" And I was like, "Yo, fuck you, Dad," and hung up like a douchebag. What an asshole thing to do, right? So, and then, yeah, I just fucking like ran away for 3 months, and then, yeah, it was from there. Like, Dad like came and got me, went, and then he decided to send me over to Queensland for. I think I was over there for like 5 years. I was over there for 5 years, and yeah, shit, that fucking opened my eyes a lot, because Dad used to always say that the grass isn't greener on the other side, because that's where my real mum lived. So he sent me over there because I was an asshole, and he was worried that I was going to try and fight my stepmom, because she used to beat the fuck out of me. She used to have very long blonde hair. And what would happen is, like, I was obviously being an asshole or something, but she'd grab my hair and just, like, the architrave, the door frame, she would grab my hair and just fucking slam my head into the door frame. Like, not belt me, but just like, it was almost abuse. It was abuse. She used to grab my fucking hair and just slam me into the door frame. And I remember one time Dad came home from work, and he's like, "Yo, what the fuck happened to your head?" And I had like two massive like lumps on my head, on my forehead. It's probably why my forehead's so big. And she obviously told him that I like fell off my bike, because I used to ride BMX a lot. And he goes, "Yo, what happened to you? I heard that you like fell off your bike and the front wheel came off, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Yeah." Like, I was obviously scared. I didn't want to dob. So I was like, yeah, fucking the wheel came off as I was trying to do a wheelie, and then just like head planted. He's like, "Oh, fucking good egg," and fucking. So yeah, I used to get pretty well abused as a fucking kid, but I mean, I was an asshole kid, so I probably deserved it, to be honest. But yeah, went over to Queensland, and yeah, Dad used to always say the grass isn't greener on the other side, and I was like, "You don't know what you're fucking talking about," like blah 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 blah. And boy, was he right. I went over there. I probably won't go into too much detail, but she used to deal things, and I remember one time this dude came to the front door, and he's like, "Yo, like, your mum said that I can have a tick." And I was like, I was like fucking 14 or 15 at the time. I was like, "Bro, I don't know what that is." And he was obviously like fucking hanging for whatever the fuck it was. And what happened was, I was like scared for my fucking life, because this dude was huge. And like, just as I closed the door and locked the door, he started booting the fucking door in. And he booted the door open, belted the absolute flog out of me, and then went and, fucking stole some shit out of wherever the fuck it was, and then took off. And then I got belt again because I let that happen, which was pretty fucked up. But actually, after that, I'm pretty sure I went to school one day. I was like riding to school when I was there, and yeah, they knew like who I was, and then fucking like pretty well, just as I would drive, I was riding over a bridge, and as I like came out the other side, there was like people waiting, like up past the street there, and they were fucking just waiting there for me. So I just like fucking turned back around, and I scooted. I was gone skis, because I didn't want to get my fucking head punched in again. But yeah, so from there, there was a massive like learning experience being over there, because the grass isn't greener on the other side. So you should probably listen to your parents when that happens. But I'm not mad that I went over there. I was, I learnt a lot of shit over there. I so the reason why I actually moved back was because I was with my ex, and I was about 17 or I think I was 17 at the time. I moved back over here because we had the plan of like, yo, we're gonna move back over to WA, and I'm gonna like while I was over here, I was gonna get a job and find like a place for us to live, and then she was gonna move over. And then what happened was while she was in her hometown, she slept with someone else, and that was that. But that spiraled me into, because I was home alone. Dad used to work away a lot. So while Dad was away, I was home alone for 3 weeks, and then Dad would come back for a week, and then it would repeat. So that spiraled me into like what I know now as a depression, or as a bit of depression and a bit of anxiety, like because it was like my first love or whatever. And yeah, that spiraled me into that. But fucking funny and crazy story. So strap the fuck in for this one. I used to have anxiety attacks, and I didn't know what anxiety was at the time. So what happened was I was with this like job agency, and I went there, and the receptionist behind the counter was like, "Oh, like what are you here for?" and blah blah. And I kind of just like opened up about the way I was feeling and what was going on inside my head. And after like explaining it, she was like, "Oh, it actually sounds like you've got schizophrenia and paranoia." And after that, I just fucking, I didn't really know what that shit was. So I kind of just left. And they actually gave me a pamphlet for a mental health institute here in, no, that was in Perth, a fucking mental health institute in Perth. But yeah, she gave me this pamphlet, and I was like, what the fuck? I don't fucking need this. I don't have that. And then the next morning, I remember coming out of the shower, drying my hair, because, your boy had long hair at the time, drying my hair, and the news was on. This was like 9 a.m, and what was on the news was like this dude was in psychosis, and he killed like 3 people. And from that moment, I was like, holy fucking shit, I'm going to hurt someone. Because this person told me the day before that I have schizophrenia and paranoia. So then from that moment on, I was shitting my fucking pants every single day for months on end, thinking this, what if? And it wasn't like I was going to go out and like actively do it, but it was like, oh, what if I'm driving along and someone like comes out of fucking, whatever. And I was having massive anxiety attacks. And anxiety, if you haven't had an anxiety attack, to me, anxiety attacks feel like you're getting stabbed with an adrenaline stick. It fucking sucks. You have like your heart is racing like fucking crazy. You've got the sweats on, but you're cold. When I was going through them, I remember just feeling like I needed to run. Like I needed to do something, but I felt like if I ran, I would have fucking passed out. So yeah, for like 3 to 4 months there, I was just going through this massive panic stage of I'm gonna hurt someone. And as well as fucking thinking I got paranoia, I obviously Googled the symptoms of this, and I was like, holy fucking shit, like I'm going nuts. What the fuck is going on? And yeah, like for like 3 months, I just went fucking absolutely crazy with the anxiety. And then lo and behold, my lovely wife came into the picture and saved me. She came in and scooped me up. So yeah, that's when I met my missus. And even then, like I remember being on Skype and just having fucking anxiety attacks. But as soon as I would call her, everything would just disappear. Like it was like she was the thing that I needed. Like the universe put her there to put my brain at ease. So she doesn't actually realize like the things that she's done for me mentally. Like if I was to explain it, like there's genuinely no words for what she's done for me mentally. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't think that she understands like what she's done, but she's made me so mentally strong and pushed me to become the bloke that I am today, to want to help people. And, I can't help but just have this like thankfulness for her. Damn, it feels like I'm about to cry. What the fuck? Damn, I didn't think it was going to get this real. Holy shit. Yeah, no, she fucking like not saved me, but she helped. The things that she's done for me has just been absolutely fucking phenomenal. And there's genuinely no words for me to explain. Like, she always thanks me for being me and, being the person that I am. But what she doesn't realize is she's the one that created the person that is here today. So, yeah, I just fucking, we were Skype calling, and as soon as she was on the call, it was just, my mind was blank. But then I went through a stage of like insecurity where, because my last partner cheated, it was like I had this, oh shit, she's going to do it again. Sorry, welcome back to Intersect podcast. Just a bit of a break there. That got into fucking an insecurity where, yeah, I was thinking that she was going to do it, and then I got to the point where I was like, I like, you have to delete every bloke on your friends list. Like, that's to the insecurities that I had, because I just didn't trust anyone. And then, she was like, yeah, of course, no worries. Like, if that's going to make you feel better, fucking absolutely, I'll do it for you. And then, yeah, it was like, from that moment on, it was just like, we've been together for 11 years and I would never expect anyone to fucking do that ever. It was such a dumb thing to do, but it definitely brought us closer. And, then it just goes into like having our first kid, Macy. She done wonders for our mental health. I've never really been brought up with money or like wealth. So like, everything that you see here today has just been from hard work or Adam's bank account. No, I'm joking. But when we had Macy, I was working for like a month after she was born, and then my boss was an absolute fucking crackhead. So he pretty much just sold all of his shit for crack and trying to pay his employees with crack. And I didn't know anything about it. And then the business went fucking up in shambles, and I didn't have a job. And we were living in a house that was like $400 a week, and Michaela was getting money from Centrelink, and I had to, pull my fucking pants up and become a man to bring the income in, with like, obviously having a new kid and being in a house and paying for the rent and shit. And when it comes to money, I've never come from wealth, so it was such a hard thing, but familiar, to be in a place where you have no money. So it was hard what we went through. So what happened was, we were like living in a house, and we obviously had to pay the rent and pay for food. So we were both on Centrelink at the time, getting money until I found a job. And that money that we were getting was only enough to pay for the rent and some groceries. Like obviously we made it so like Macy got the best stuff we could possibly afford, and like everything else. And I remember holding her in our bedroom and apologizing to her. This was when I was 20. And I remember just holding my newborn and apologizing to her because I couldn't give her the things that like she wanted. Not that she wanted, because she was a fucking kid, but just like apologizing. I just remember apologizing to her for not being able to be the best dad that I can be. And I think from that moment on, it was just a uphill from there. I don't know what happened, but I just like my whole mental state changed. It went from you need to get a fucking job. So that's when I started working cleaning toilets, because it was the only place that was hiring, and I did it. I went and cleaned toilets for 6 months or something, and then the jobs just kept getting, better and better with the paying. The pay rate kept getting better and better, but it's only been the last year. So it took 8 years to get to where I am now, to be able to finally say that my financial situation is like comfortable. But I work my fucking ass off. So, it went from like cleaning toilets to like selling vacuums, and then being a traffic controller, and then going back to selling vacuums, and then going, I kind of like retail, and then going into Harvey Norman, and then from Harvey Norman going into my apprenticeship. So there's been a lot of. I also did in between all that. I did fucking. I did civil work. Used to do like comms and shit, just be a labourer. But when it comes to retail, if you were to see me 5 to 6 years ago, I was the most antisocial person that you would probably have met. If someone was to come to me and be like, yo, let's go out for a few drinks, I'd be like, nah, I'm cool, man. I just didn't want to be around people. Being around people scared the shit out of me. So going into retail, I think, and me and Gaz was actually talking about this last night, going into retail, it has helped. So I used to stutter, right? From ever since I was a kid, as far as I can remember, up until probably like 5-6 years ago. And every sentence was a stutter. I couldn't say words beginning with S's, F's, and M's. All of them used to fuck me up. So going into retail, I was nervous as fuck. And the whole sales pitch that you had to memorize it. And I remember the dude interviewing me, he goes, you have to memorize this sales pitch, to like get them invested and intrigued and trying to solve their problems and all this other stuff. And I was like, bro, I can't, I stutter. And it, having a stutter is so fucked, because it you always get told to think before you say, but when you stutter, you have to think of multiple words that mean the same thing so you don't stutter. So being in retail helped so much with my social, being interactive with other people. It helped with my speech. And the job was just fucking wicked. I think from retail is when I found the love of helping, because the thing that taught me was, when you want to sell something, you're not selling it for you, you're selling it to solve someone's problems. So when the person would come in to me and be like, yo, my vacuum shit, fucking blah, 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 you'd be like, oh, well, what was your old vacuum? What happened? How did you like it? So you'd find all these things, and then you knowing the products, you would then go, oh, well, I think for what you've told me, for you to be able to clean your carpets, get a deep clean, or allergies, like your kids have allergies, blah, 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 I think this one would be the best one. And you would problem solve and fix their issues by recommending something and also demonstrating something to them for their issues. So that retail helped me with that side of, and I'm so grateful that I went through retail, because then I went into Harvey Norman, and then Harvey Norman, I had a big thing for computers and tech stuff. So I went and I was selling computer stuff all through there. And then that just skyrocketed my, my self-esteem I didn't really stutter anymore. Like the people that you meet that I've known in the past, like 5 or 6 years, that say that they didn't even realize that I stutter until you meet Regan. And then Regan's fucking every little time that I go, he's like, yeah, nice stutter, gangster stutter. Fuck you, Regan, bitch. Nah, I love Regan. But yeah, it was just like skyrocketed my self-esteem and my confidence, because I can now talk confidently until I'm excited. If I'm excited or nervous, I'll start stuttering. But yeah, it just skyrocketed everything, and it just went up from there. But you know, I don't know if this episode has much structure. I don't think there's much structure. I'm just really just rambling on. So I apologize if you get fucking bored, but I'm just diving in and just chilling. So, but fuck off, your dog. Like retail just helped me so much. And the thing with like a speech impediment, especially being a kid, like they try and get it young. So while your brain's still developing and all that type of stuff, they want to try and get it. But then, they tell you shit like fucking think before you talk, or wait a few seconds before you say something and then say it, and then, all this other shit. But for someone that just needs to get something out, you don't think, you just say, and then you just start like mumbling the words. It's so hard to explain. It's like you just have this thing that you need to get out, but you cannot physically say it, or you just start stumbling on the letters. Like you'd go, like if I was to say, hey miss, I'd be like, yeah, Regan's gonna love that one. He's gonna be in his car like, yo, nice stutter. Fucking but yeah, it was just like such a difficult task to try and talk when you have a stutter. It's fucking shit. It's a shit thing. And even when I watch videos, like people who post videos of like going out of their comfort zone to like go through a drive-through. I've seen there's a few where they go through a drive-through and they have a like really bad stutter, and they like push themselves to do it, and you can just see them struggling and being embarrassed because they can't say like, hey, can I get, a fucking Big Mac? That like for the first like minute they're trying to say hey, but they're like, and that's not me like fucking like teasing anyone. I've been there and it fucking sucks, and it hurts me to watch those videos. But then you read the comments and they're just all so positive. But yeah, no, it's fucking I think that might be pretty well everything. I've always been scared of drugs. I remember having my first weed, and I remember back in school just always, they would also say like, don't do drugs. You'll start to feel, and if you do drugs, you'll start to feel like cockroaches and shit. Obviously, that's fucking like hard drugs. Don't ever do drugs. Yeah, they'd be like, oh, you can feel fucking cockroaches and shit underneath your skin. So as soon as I had like my first bong, I'll probably bleep that, and I started to get a bit higher, that's all that went through my brain. So I just got fucking shit scared, anxiety attacks galore. And I remember having the pasties. Actually, this is a fucking funny story. I remember having the pasties. Pasties is like a dry mouth. And I'm just sitting there going, trying to get some saliva in my mouth. Ran out of my mate's house just fucking because I had so much like energy. Just ran out and everything just felt slow. And I just ran out and I was like, I need to drink water. And I ran up to this dude's house and he had his like the tap that was out the front. I just ran over there and I was like, fucking, give me some big fat water. So I'm smashing this water, and he like comes out, he like steps on this like balcony thing, And he's like, mate, are you right? I was like, yeah, just fucking leave me alone and give me water. And he's like, yeah, all good, man, no worries. And then from that point, I just ran. I'm pretty sure I don't actually know where I went from there. But I remember just like being home from that point. I just remember running and just having fucking so much anxiety from that point. And that point, I've just always been fucking like shit scared of any type of drug. So yeah, that was a different one. But you know, you're always going through experiences in life, and I mean, like, some are good and some are bad. But you know, life is what you make it, and if you have the mental strength to bring light to shit situations, like me being bald, like being bald is a fucking massive insecurity for me. Like when people make fun of it, it makes me feel fine with it because it's funny. Like if I can, when it comes to insecurities, like you could find the fucking most confident bloke, and I can guarantee when he's home alone in his bathroom looking at himself, I can guarantee you he'll have some insecurities. Like you can go to the biggest, muscliest fucking dude and bet you he's got insecurities. Everyone has insecurities, and like for me, it was my weight and it was my fucking hairline. Like, I used to have a lot of hair. A lot of hair. Bro was fucking Justin Bieber. And now got none. It fucking sucks. And like, there's some days where I kind of just look at myself and I'm like, fuck, just go get a hair transplant. That shit is expensive, man. I would rather just fucking either wear a hat or just go bald, because going bald actually suits me. So I'd rather just do that. I'd just rather go fucking bald. I mean, I am bald already, not go bald. I'd rather just stay bald. But yeah, I think that might be a bit of a fucking end of the solo episode 10. It's it's kind of fun. I got very emotional there. Very emotional. I didn't think that was going to happen. Damn, Michaela done some stuff to me. I love you, Michaela. I love you, my baby. That was weird saying Michaela. What the fuck? I don't think I've called her that since I was 18. Love you, baby. Yeah, I think that's fucking like pretty much it. Hopefully you guys didn't get too bored of that. And you now know pretty much all the shit that I've been through. Got pretty deep there for a bit. Hope you like my jammies. Anyone that's listening, just make sure you go over to YouTube or go onto the Intersect Instagram page, and I'm sure you'll see a little clip there of me being in my little jammies. But yeah, I think that might conclude the 10th episode. I don't really think I have much else to say. If you guys like this episode, make sure you give us a comment, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Yeah. Yeah, I think that might be it. I think that might be it, boys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you guys have anything that you want to share to the podcast, any stories, anything about your mental health, any experiences that you've been through, just send us a DM. Or if you have some content you want us to react to, send us a DM, or send us an email at intersect.pod24@hotmail.com. We'd love to hear from you guys. Again, love the support. I cannot thank you guys enough. I know, like, mental health struggles are fucking shit, and when you're down in the dumps, it's very hard to get back out of it. Yeah, I've actually lost a few friends to suicide, which is why I have such a strong passion for it. And it's also one of the reasons why I started like Intersect, because if I can just help one person, then my job's done. But if I can bring smile to people's faces, if I can make your day just a little bit brighter, then I've done my job. That makes me fucking so happy. So, yeah, thank you guys for tuning into the podcast where the laughs and the real talk meet. Remember, nearly 1 in 5 adults suffer from mental health issues, but you're never alone. If you're struggling or you just need someone to talk to, just reach out. Stay safe, stay connected, and take care of each other. Love you guys.